Hello everybody, Ken here, welcome back to Magic Duels. Time to crack on with the story mode. We've got a choice of options here. We've got Jace Beleren, got Liliana Vess, the Necromancer, this is guys like a Mind Sage. We've got Chandra Nalar, the Pyromancer I guess. And we've got our elf lady over here, whose name Nissa Ravane. There you go. I had to think about it for a second, which is kind of weird because Nissa's actually the only planeswalker I ever opened in a pack. Cause I built an elf deck sort of purely because I got my hands on Nissa. Oh, nice. We could kind of jump around here. I'm tempted to jump into Chandra actually, because we saw we had that quest, so we might be able to get through it. We might be able to record enough episodes of this before that quest runs out, just in case we need to complete it to get the gold guaranteed. And also, why not? Let's jump around. We don't have to do these in the exact order. So Chandra is our red mage, an 11-year-old living on Kaladesh. You chafe at the prospect of spending your life as an inventor, building things for proper society. You prefer taking things apart, often with your fists. I mean, it's kind of smashing. I suppose it's kind of taking things. But you know that tinkering's not for you. You just like destroying shit. You want to find a way to be yourself. Look at Chandra. She's pretty cool. I do actually like Chandra. Red isn't a deck I've always associated well with, but look at this, young Chandra Nalar. You find yourself in yet another in a long series of scrapes with the authorities of Kaladesh, who don't understand you. I mean, you do just break stuff with your fire fists. This time, however, something unexpected happens. When they corner you, fire spontaneously erupts from your hands. Could this be a sign of your pyromancer's spark igniting? Look at this. Oh, this guy is terrible. Oh no! It's a flame lady! Look at this fiery red hair. What a cool girl. I like Chandra a lot. In fact, I actually really like all the planeswalkers, both these kind of core 5 and a lot of the other ones outside. Ajani is pretty great. Elspeth. Some real good planeswalkers around. There's some artifact planeswalkers as well, which kind of a shame they don't include one of these in here. But I guess they wanted to keep it to the core 5 colours. Okay, well we've got, this hand is okay. We've got turn 2 play, turn 3 play. We don't have a later play, but we do have 4 mountains. Probably good enough to keep. We're fighting these general guards, I guess. Just a kind of a troublemaking youth, really. Got another mountain. So obviously mounting our red lands here. Look at this lovely artwork. Real great artwork for Magic games. Look at this. Kind of lovely little town with some kind of cliff overlooking it. Pretty cool structure here. Nice chimney. Fantastic. Okay, oh, we're playing against red-blue. Interesting. Red-blue's a weird combination. They often like reflecting spells and abilities back at you. So this guy's got haste, so we can hit with him this turn. You can also spend red mana to pump up his attack. So, or I guess, might be a lady, pump up her attack. So, you can attack with her, and then if she's not blocked, just spend all your red mana, if you like, to deal that much extra damage. This one, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you play a 1/1 token. So, it's kind of like a Violet Teacher, I guess. We want to play this when we've got a spell to play. So, let's get our haste creature on the board. It's okay to attack this turn. Oh, we got a ability. Should we play this skill quest? Let's play this skill quest. Why not? Let's get it done.
Some creatures have activated
abilities.
Abilities that let you pay a cost at any time to have an effect on the game. These costs can include tapping the creature, paying mana, or sacrificing the creature by putting it into the graveyard. You can activate abilities at any time. To complete this skill quest, survive Europe.
Okay, so we're going to be attacked here by a 2/1, but it's flying. We can't deal with flying.
To use a creature's activated ability, zoom in on that creature. Remember,
okay,
you can zoom
but this
in
Ember
on any
Hauler
card
we can
by moving the
sacrifice
cursor
it to
over
deal
it
2 damage
and
to a
scrolling the
creature or
mouse wheel
player.
up.
So we click on this, I guess. Boom. And we can deal 2 damage to this turn and kill it before it hurts us. There we go. And then it's our turn. Obviously, we've got this 5-mannered Cyclops of One-Eyed Pass. Look at this big chap. Doesn't even look like he has one eye. It looks like he's got none. Anyway. Enough musing on Cyclops lore. Let's bang that out, because we might as well. Let's give him the source right in the face. Take that training bot. Hurrah! Get Cyclops, son. See, now we get to be the Cyclops. In Kithian's campaign, we were fighting Cyclopses.
Congratulations! Activated ability.
Now we get to control the Cyclops. Red's all about aggression and kind of recklessness, and you'll often see a lot of red creatures with high attack, low health, but they'll get abilities like haste and pump. Pump is like the colloquial term for being able to literally pump up attack values or damage values, like with this Pyre Charger here. So we can't do it this turn, we don't have any mana. But worth noting, because this doesn't have, it's not red mana and tap, it's just red mana, which means you can do it as many times as you want. And that's usual for pump abilities. You can usually just spend as much mana as you like to pump a creature. Thopter Engineer, you get a 1/1 colourless token, and it has haste. It's quite good, really. I mean, it's 3 mana. Get a 1/3 and a 1/1 flying with haste. So this is a token. You see, it's like it's got this special card back. So kind of this token thing. So tokens in Magic are treated differently than creatures. If you return a token to someone's hand, it disappears. It doesn't actually go back into their hand. If you kill a token, it's removed from the game. It doesn't go into the graveyard. So you can't interact with tokens once they've left the battlefield. Okay, so we've got a Fire Elemental, but we can't play that quite yet. It's 5 mana. But it's a 5/4, which is fairly potent. So what we can do here is we can play this Mountain, and we can attack with our Pyre Charger, and if it's blocked by this, well, we can pump it up just enough to kill it. Get ready to stop the timer when blockers are declared. So we stop the timer, we boom you up. We want to pump it twice to make it a +3, or to make it a 3/1, and then it will trade with this creature. That's fine. It takes the haste off the flying. It stops any kind of crazy combos happening. We don't know what this deck's capable of. It might play a load of artifact creatures with haste. Here's quite a good AoE spell. We've got 4 damage to a player and 1 damage to each creature they control. Oh, this is the Scrapyard Mongrel. This is the one we put in our deck. +2/+0 and has trample, so it's quite dangerous. In fact, it's a 5/3 trample even now. Crikey. This is a tough deck to come up against off the bat. Okay, great. Man, this is a tough fight. I guess we could play our 2/1. One of the nice things about Magic versus Hearthstone is, you know, creatures are vulnerable because, you know, the opponent could cast a spell to kill it, but the opponent can't. There's no way for the opponent to attack it directly. At least not for the most. There are some cards that let you attack opponent's creatures or target opponent's creatures directly, but usually there's no way for them to attack our Pyromancer, so we can keep him alive if we want to, or keep her alive if we want to. Okay, so we could block this, but it would only block 1 damage and it wouldn't kill this thing, so 4 would still go through, so I think we're just going to have to take this. Crikey, there's no messing around from this opponent's deck. Magic, at some level, I think the thing with, and it's a big part of it, is the land thing. Is really increases the luck of the draw. In a way that, let's say, increases the luck of the draw in a way that Hearthstone doesn't have. Hearthstone obviously does rely on some RNG, but when you've got the lands to consider, that increases it even further. Okay, so we could fiery impulse here, kill a creature, get a token off this guy, but then we couldn't play this fire elemental. So maybe we'll just play this fire elemental this turn. It's quite a solid creature. It would be able to trade with this thing, which is okay. We could alternatively play Chandra's Fury, which would kill 2 of the creatures. What I'm tempted to do here is trade this Pyromancer, and this is an instant, so we can attack with the Pyromancer and see if he blocks. I think in fact that's what I'm going to do. Attack with this, and then when he blocks, if he blocks, we'll play Chandra's Fury, and 4 damage to that will kill these Thopters, put this down to 2 so that we can trade into it. We get a 1-1 because we played a spell. We played an instant, so this guy gave us a 1-1 token. It's a red elemental. That is important because sometimes things will buff elementals specifically. This one, this guy also puts, crikey, just flooding us with creatures here. I don't feel, see, we could have held on to our Chandra's Wrath or whatever it was, but at some point you can't just keep holding on to your stuff. So Trample's real tough here because we don't have a good way of dealing with this guy. We could block it and use Fiery Impulse if we had the mana for it. But sadly, we don't have the mana for it, so... Okay. So this thing will actually deal 3 damage. So if we use one and then use the other, then it will deal... So we can do 2 damage to that, if we like, and then 3 damage to that. Now, in fact, we probably should deal the 2 damage to this, because it has flying. So 2 damage to this, 3 damage to this. We could do this now, or we could do it in our turn, at the end of turn. So this is 5 damage. So if this is 5 and we've only got 6 mana, so if we play this, we can't play both of our things, and we need to use one to trigger the spell mastery. So I think what we'll do is we'll continue. We could attack here and trade in, but I don't necessarily know if that's actually the best idea. Let's skip it and let's end our turn, because we're that way, by casting the instants on our opponent's turn, we can react if they play something that's more dangerous. I don't think this Aeronaut Tinker is quite as dangerous, and in fact if we kill the artifact it won't have flying anyway. When this guy dies, he deals 2 damage to you. Oh, to you, so that's to the opponent. It seems not great for a 2-2 for 2. But hey, just the way of the world, I guess. Okay, that's kind of how I was hoping that would go down. Right, so we're going to block this guy. Going to confirm block, stop the timer. Man, I don't even know how we have to do this, so... I want to deal 2 damage to that. Then stop the timer. And then there's 2 in our thing. Deal 3 damage to this guy, who's actually now a 3-3 because there are no artifacts, but we still need to kill him. This trades in. That's been a pretty good turn for us. We're still in dire straits here, though. But thankfully we're getting a couple of big creatures out. We might be able to survive. Probably going to attack with both. But we'll kill the guy who can have flying, I think. Because he might get flying next turn. Confirm block. We'll take 2 damage from this guy, which is still not ideal, but you know, what are you going to do? It's got another one. Thankfully, still no way of having flying, seems like. And another sellsword brute. He's going to try and flood us with creatures. Hopefully we draw something else we can play alongside this guy. Or we draw a spell to kill some stuff. Some spells and abilities are flexible. Okay, great. This is a good one to look at. So this is kind of a pump effect, but in a spell. Have a look.
Some spells and abilities let you spend any amount of mana. A spell that has X in its mana cost lets you choose any value for X. So you determine how many lands to tap while casting that spell. The more lands you tap, the larger the effect. Similarly, a creature may have an activated ability that you can repeat to complete this skill quest. Survive your
Okay, so we've got a 6/7 here, which is presumably going to attack us. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to do 7 damage to it. So we play this. 7. Okay. We want to deal 7 damage to this Axebane stag. Crack. Let's hope we draw a mountain next turn for lethal. Oh, we drew a mountain. Fantastic. Play our Pyre Charger. Then we want to attack with it. And then we want to pump it up. Can we just... No, we have to go up. Can't just loop around. There are 9/1 with haste. Bam! And that's the power of Pyre Charger. It's a real good card. It's okay at the start, and it's great in the late game.
Variable mana requirements are
It's really good if you're top decking things that can pump like that. They're very versatile. Okay, so we've got Ravaging Blaze. We have 2 or more, so we've got Spell Mastery. So it will deal X damage to the creature and also that much to their controller. So if we play this, this costs 5 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd only have 2 mana left, so we wouldn't be able to actually deal any damage. I think it's better to play the Fire Elemental this turn, because it's better to have creatures on board. We could kill one of these things, but we're going to let one of them through anyway. If these guys can block 2 of these guys. This would kill 1, but 2 of them would still be blocked. Interesting to note that often spells won't seem quite balanced because of the way that colours work. So this deals X damage to target creature and to its controller, whereas a black one might deal X damage to a target and restore that much health to you. You might think that seems more powerful, but then the trade-off is, you know, black has different priorities. So black creatures tend to be weaker overall, but then there are ways that you can resurrect them, for example. So we want to skip our attack here because we can't afford to let 2 of these guys through. It's actually going to be pretty close. We're really living by the skin of our teeth here. Another Aeronaut Tinker. Thankfully these guys aren't going to die. Oh, interesting. He didn't attack. That's very interesting. So we've got this 4 mana, 3/2. Can attack and tap as soon as it comes under our control. Now he's got enough things that he could actually just kill us. Because he would take... Let's think about this. We can play this for 4. We'd only have 1 for Ravaging Blaze, which isn't enough. Man, I don't know if there's a good way out of this, to be honest. It's all a bit tough. We attack with both. We do 4 damage. We can't deal enough damage. I think we might be in trouble here. So I guess we'll just give it our best. And see what the opponent... Maybe the opponent won't attack, but I actually think the opponent probably will attack. I don't think the AI is that foolish. So I presume these other ones that aren't Gideon's campaign are somewhat more randomized. So he's actually not attacking with enough. He's attacking with just enough to kill us. He could have attacked us with everything. But he's worried that maybe we'd have a... I guess he's worried that we'd have some kind of AoE deal X damage to all attacking creatures, which are spells that red can do. So we want to deal with this guy and with this guy. We confirm block and we stop timer and we Ravaging Blaze. And we might as well spend all our mana on it to deal as much damage to the opponent as possible. So we'll deal 7 damage, 2 from this dying and 5 from the spell. And we take 2. And this is great, right? Because we've got haste here. So and there's nothing in their hand, so we've actually won. Because the opponent was worried about our cards in hand, they didn't attack with everything. And now, if we attack with all, well, he can only block 1 of them. And this thing's going to die, so he'll still take 2 damage from that. But even if he blocks this, he's going to take... Let's say he blocks this creature, he'll take 5, 8 from the others. So he's dead anyway. Nothing in hand, so there's nothing that they can do to counter. I'm going to take these guards out. Huzzah! Well done, Chandra. Got a bit lucky there, but we intimidated the guards and they panicked. They were afraid of our fiery hands. Thanks to your newfound fire magic. Look, she looks older already. Oh, Chandra's the best. She's great. Look at her. I'm going to say that all the characters are the best in this, but the characters in Magic are great. Thanks to your newfound fire magic, you managed to escape from the authorities, but your fiery gift does not go unnoticed. Kaladesh soldiers, led by the formidable Captain Baral, pursue you through the city. Hey! I don't know if she's like happy to see us or if she looks almost like, it looks like your mum or something, just be like, Chandra, get inside. I don't know if this is Captain Baral or if this guy looks pretty, he's got like a sword arm. Some kind of glaive that like fits, it's like kind of a glove that fits over his hand, like a glove glaive. Yeah, glove glaive. Gotta love that. Okay, well, with Captain Baral's soldiers hot on your heels, you duck into an artifact foundry to hide. The red often has a lot of synergy with artifacts, as we've already seen. But as soon as you enter, a host of automated artifacts detect your presence and come to life. They don't look very friendly. Uh-oh. We have to fight the foundry security. We tried to hide in here, but now we've run into the security system. Okay, 4 lands is okay. Fiery Impulse. That's quite a nice early spell. And it's good to get instants in our graveyard because we've got lots of this spell mastery where we get slightly better effects. Fire Elemental is a good end game card, but Manic Vandal isn't that end game. To be honest, I don't really like this hand. Like, we haven't got anything we can actually play till turn 3. And it's only a 2/2. I'm going to draw a new hand. 2 mana is okay. We got 2 creatures we can play on 2 mana. We got a 3 mana. I used to use Chandra's Phoenix, it's quite good. Got flying and haste. And whenever you damage an opponent by your spell, so whenever we damage this artifact the Foundry security, we can return it from our graveyard to our hand. So basically anytime we hit them with a spell, we can just fiery impulse them. We get our Phoenix back, we can put it in, flying and haste. Not going to be much they can do about it. We've got this Manic Vandal if they put out an artifact that's trouble. There we go. This is a good hand. I like this hand. Okay. Let's see what the Foundry security has. I presume they'll have lots of artifacts. X spells and repeatable abilities. Okay. Did we get an X spell? I guess we got 3 Pyre Chargers. So we drew another Pyre Charger. Great. Pyre Chargers, as we've seen, can be quite powerful in the late game. But they're okay in the early game too. Creature tokens. Alright, well, let's learn more about creature tokens. We spoke about them briefly. But now we've got a skill quest.
Some cards create creature tokens. These tokens follow all the same rules creatures do. They can attack and block just like any other creature. If a token leaves the battlefield, it disappears completely. Tokens never stay in your hand, your graveyard, or anywhere else.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about. Tokens
In
never
this
stay
skill
on the
quest,
board.
Defend yourself against your opponent's attack, and attack for the win on your next turn.
Okay, this is a great one actually, because it looks like, hey, he's got no blockers. I'll just hit him and kill him. We're going to raise the alarm. Use the mana tapping button. How do we... What is the mana tapping button? I don't even see the mana tapping button. Whatever, we don't need to worry about that for now. Oh, I think that might be like... I think you might be able to like right click the mana to tap it. So we want to block. We can chump block with our 1/1. A chump block is when you throw a weak creature in front of a strong one that isn't going to do anything except to prevent the damage. You do it purely to prevent the damage. You throw this like weak little chump in the way of the big claw worm, and you know he can't do anything in the fight. You know he's going to lose it hands down. No remorse, no redemption, but he saves you, saves your life. We want to attack. We can drag over there. Don't know quite why I did that instead of just clicking on it, but there we go. Take that. Made a mistake, and now you're dead.
Well played. Cards that create
Thanks.
multiple tokens can fill up.
It's
your
easy to
side
play
of
well
the
when the thing's fixed in your favour, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. Okay, well, let's bop this out. We got this young Pyromancer. Might actually be a good one to play out because we've got a spell that we could play next turn, or we could Pyre Charge. If we don't play a spell, then we can Pyre Charge and buff it up next turn. But it means we've got options. So next turn we could Fiery Impulse and play the Pyre Charger if there's a creature to kill. If there's not a creature to kill... Ooh, look at this. This is a good card. Chief of the Foundry, and it's a... generally you hear cards referred to as Lords. Lords basically mean things that buff similar creatures. So this guy will buff other artifact creatures. There are specific. They used to be specifically referred to as Lords. They're not really now, but Flames of the Firebrand. 3 damage divided as you choose among up to 3 targets. That's good. Well, it's not that good, but it's okay. Lightning Bolt was always so this is actually interesting, right? Lightning Bolt was the kind of quintessential red spell, and it was 1 red mana, deal 3 damage to target player or creature. So you could hit anything for 3 damage. You could hit them in the face, you could hit them, and it was 3 damage for 1 red mana. And that's kind of, they've had kind of a reverse power creep in mana in Magic. They still do have the power creep effect, but there's some cards where they just kind of said, this is maybe just a bit too much, really. It's always caused, in fact it kind of causes a problem, because all these spells that just die to Lightning Bolt, all these sort of 2-3 mana creatures that just die to Lightning Bolt, can be a real problem. Okay, so we got options here. We could deal 2 damage to In fact, what I might do here, play this guy, and I'll attack with this guy. Because we've got loads of these. I want to keep our Pyromancer safe. But I'm going to attack with this guy. And hopefully he'll block it with the 2-3. Okay, almost didn't stop the timer there. It's quite difficult to... Oh, we haven't got the mana. Oh no, I thought we had one more red mana. Oh well. I assumed we'd draw a mana for some reason. Oh well. We're going to lose our guy for free. That's a mistake. Rest in peace. We've learned a lesson there. Pay attention to how much land you have. So this is being mana starved. Oh no, these guys are going to buff each other. That's like a real good play for him. If only we'd drawn a... See, this is the impact of the draw. If we'd just drawn one land, one of these guys would be dead and it wouldn't be an issue. Don't really want to block with our 2-1. In all honesty. But we can destroy target artifacts, so the next time we draw a land we'll actually be in a better place. God, none of these... Like, we can play a Pyre Charger, and I guess we will, but we won't attack with it because it's not really very beneficial. Crikey. This is tough. This is one of those sort of rough land situations. This is why like, keeping less than 3 land is a bit of a risk. So this is quite an interesting card. So it's 4 and you have 3 choices. You can have a 3-3 creature, a 2-2 with flying, or a 1-6 wall, which has defender, so it means it can't attack. I think he'll probably choose the flying, but we'll see. Maybe he'll just choose the... No, he's just going to choose the big creature. I know he didn't, he chose the flying. It gets buffed twice by these. So he could have had a 5-5, but he chose not to. Right, block step. Do you want to block one of these? I think we kind of do. I don't want to take 6 damage here. Especially not with that much on the board. So I'm going to chump block this guy. Just because I can't handle that much damage. Okay, there we go. So we can play this. And I think we'll play this guy that can destroy an artifact, because that might actually give us some... It's going to give us some form of... We'll destroy these ones that buff. I think that's probably the best bet. We're not going to attack. We can't really afford to lose this guy and he'll die for free. Poor young Pyromancer. She's... Immolation is the sincerest form of flattery. A good lesson there. Can't block the flying creature, but notice didn't attack with the Lord. Oh, here comes another Primal Clay. This is terrifying. Okay, well we can deal 3 damage. So we can actually deal with some of these creatures, and we'll get some tokens, so that might be quite a good idea here. So what we're going to do, we're going to deal 3 damage, divided as we choose. And the way I'm going to choose is 1, 2, 3. We get a token from our young Pyromancer from casting a sorcery, a red sorcery. And now we can Fiery Impulse and deal 2 damage to target creature. We'll deal it to the one that's untapped because he can block. Boof. Right, so there's a 2-2 here. I think we'll attack with our Pyromancer because we're not going to block with it. Are we going to block with our Manic Vandal? We can't anyway because this guy's got flying, so let's just attack. I don't think this deck doesn't seem to have lots of haste in it that we need to worry about. So let's get in some damage. Start fighting our way back. See, look at this Pyromancer value we're getting here. Notice that the tokens have summoning sickness when they come in. Ram Roller. Ooh. Gonna be a 4-3 because it controls another artifact. As unstoppable as it is unsteerable. There's some really good like puns and stuff. In fact, I actually think this Was it immolation is the sincerest form of flattery? There's some good puns in. I remember there's one of the classic, just a bear card, like a vanilla 3/3 bear card or something, and the flavor text is he reserves the right to bear arms. Bear arms because it's a bear. Okay, so we got 2/2 flying. Be quite a nice one to play, or we could play the pyre charger. And if he blocks, we can pump it up. Pump it up. And we can kill it. So what I think we're going to do here is we're going to attack with this, and we'll attack with one of the tokens and see which one he blocks. Don't want to attack with either of these because they die for free to this guy. And I want to keep one of the tokens back as a potential chump blocker. Okay, so we'll see how he blocks first. Right, so he's just going to block this guy. We've got options here. We could play this, or we could play the Chandra's Phoenix. Now, obviously, we can't attack because we've already done our attack. But I think it's good to have the Phoenix there because we can block this 2/2 fella with it. So I think we're not going to pump up for the free damage. We're going to play another creature. But that's maybe slightly better. But if he'd blocked this, we could have pumped it up to trade, which I think is why he didn't block. But there we go. Play a creature. Actually, can make this quite a good blocker. Can this guy attack everything he has to attack if able? So it's actually possible we could. So here we can block with a 1/1 and a 2/2. We can kill this thing. I think maybe we'll do that. We don't really. This isn't as useful now that we've destroyed the artifact. These guys will both die, but they'll trade into this guy. He does have all his mana up, so you have to be careful. But red generally can't protect creatures that well. It can often pump up a creature's attack, but that's not too worrying for us. This is quite a dangerous Steel Overseer, so every turn he can be tapped to put a counter. But notice he can't do that if he's attacked. So, and it includes himself because he's an artifact creature, and it doesn't say each other, it just says each. So what you would do is you wouldn't attack with this guy, and you'd wait until the opponent's end step, just before it came back to your turn, and then you tap him, because then you can save him in case you need to block with him. You can block if you want, and then once you've blocked a creature, you can tap him before he dies to put a counter on all your creatures. It's quite versatile, really. Gotta love that. Okay, so this isn't too threatening. This guy is obviously... I'd actually be okay if he traded this with this flyer. So... possible he'll trade with the pyre charger. But I think that would be okay too, to be honest. If he doesn't, we'll pump the charger for 3 anyway. Continue. Right, we'll confirm attack, see how he blocks. Okay, oh yeah, heat across. But that's fine actually, because although we'll lose this, like, I actually think that's okay, because this guy's real dangerous. Like, and yes, it's just a 1/1, but it's a more dangerous 1/1 I think than our pyro charger is. We'll play the other Phoenix. In fact, we probably should have played it first because we were only going to ever pump it for 3. So, bit of a misplay there, I think. Retrospectively, I keep forgetting this thing has haste. We're 3/4. See, this is, I don't know, this is just not a good creature really. 3/4 enters tapped. No real reason for that. But not too many big creatures in these tutorials. In fact, like I feel I should. If you're not familiar with Magic, a lot of the cards in these story modes are a bit weak, really, which I think is kind of weird that they don't give you more powerful cards. Given that, you know, what's the downside to giving you powerful cards when these aren't decks you can take into constructed? So just let people have whatever, you know. attack with these phoenixes because we can always bounce them back from our graveyard. It's not actually too bad if they get killed. We might have to block with our pyromancer here, depending on how things are going. Take 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We got our value out of the pyromancer. It's kind of a shame to block with her, but we've got to trade in, make sure we get. Ramroll is going to attack next turn. A little bit scary. We need a big draw here. Nice big spell. That is a big spell. We got the bonus as well. So what we could do is we could attack in here. We could attack him with 1. How much damage can we do? 2. We can do 5 damage. That's the thing. If he let both of them through, in fact, we've got flying, and he's not got a flying blocker. If this doesn't work, then we lose. But I'm going to presume it will work, and that this red guy doesn't have a damage spell on our creatures. Let's go all in. He hasn't done any damage to our creatures previously. There we go. We beat the Foundry security. Well done, Chandra. Okay, great. The good news is that you're getting the hang of your gift of pyromancy. The bad news, you've scorched dozens of highly valuable artifacts and burned down the foundry. You can bet Captain Burrell's forces will redouble their efforts to find you now. Crikey, look, she's going at it. Lava hands on the artifacts. After the destruction of the factory, completely accidental but admittedly due to your fire magic, you and your family flee to the countryside in order to hide from Baral. This guy's got cool goggles. The wild creatures out here scare you at first, but you soon realise that a beast attack is just another chance to practice your pyromancy. There you go, so she's realising how powerful she can be. She's going to take on the Kaladesh wildlife. Just burn some tigers, you know. Why not? Okay, it's pretty good. We got a 2-drop, 2 2-drops, and a 3-drop, and a spell to play with our 2-drop here. That seems okay. 3 lands is a decent chunk. I presume our decks are being upgraded each turn, the same as they were before. I wasn't actually paying attention to that, but I imagine our deck gets better each time we play through. Boom! Forest coming in. Tokens. Creature tokens are created by spells and abilities. Uh-huh. Oh, this is good. We could play 2 pyromancers potentially here, and then get double the value out of our Flames of the Firebrand. Okay, opponent's turn. See what beasts are going to come out here. I presume this deck won't be too fancy, just lots of creatures. Ooh, there's a foil. Scavenging Ooze. You can exile a creature card. You can exile a card, and if it's a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on it and you gain 1 life. That's quite powerful. And also, it's good because you can exile a stuff from the opponent's graveyard to stop them resurrecting it. Or say, those cards we have with Spell Mastery, he could exile a spell from our graveyard so that we didn't get the Spell Mastery effect. Now, he's got no mana at the moment, so now will be a good time, I think, to actually deal with that outright. Right, so we can deal 1, 2, and then 1 to the face, because we don't need the 3rd damage to kill this. It's a nice bit of versatility for this card, but it is more expensive. We get our token. We can attack. Scavenging Ooze is quite dangerous, so I'm glad we got rid of that. Because once it starts getting buffed up, it can be quite threatening, really. We drew another mountain, so that's good. We're going to have lots of mana. Giant badger. God, that's terrifying. Look at that thing. Disturb a sleeping badger and the snapping of your bones will awaken the countryside. But it's bigger when it blocks. So we want to try and kill it when it's not blocking, basically. So if we had the 2 damage spell, that would do it. Fire Fiend Elemental. 3/2 haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, it gets a +1/+1 counter. That's quite cool. So basically, if you can play this on an empty board and hit with it. Okay, well let's play the flying creature because this guy can't block it. We're not going to block. We're not going to go into this guy because he get +2/+2, and we won't be able to kill it. Again, you have to be a little bit more defensive in Magic than you do in a game like Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, if you're not attacking with every creature in some way, short of maybe when there's some taunt on the board or when there's a secret, it's kind of weird. But here you really want to be pushing in for damage all the time. Hexproof, very potent against red. Actually very potent almost anywhere, but especially against red. It's a nice green ability. Green like hexproof a lot because they tend to focus on creatures and they're not fans of spells, so it's very flavorfully green. Play the Pyre Charger, I think, because then we can pump it up if he attacks us. And we'll leave 3 mana up so that we can pump it to defend against one of these guys. Okay, confirm. We're going to attack with our 2/2. Take it nice and slow. We'll try and speed things up a little bit. We've been kind of taking our time and explaining everything carefully, but we want to get through these, so let's speed up the pace just a touch. I'm not a fast player, in case you hadn't noticed. But this guy attacks into us, we can kill it with a Pyre Charger. Okay, great. We'll attack with this. Confirm block. And then we want to pump up. It's a 3/3, so we're 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's going to give it +2/+2? Oh no, it's going to be a 5/5, and we can't deal with a 5/5. That's a real nice thing to pull out. And we've already declared blockers. See, if we'd blocked with the chump as well. That's a real clever play. We're still going to block this thing so we won't take the damage, but it's going to be alive. Nifty. So if he had 1 more mana, we could have pumped it up enough to kill it, but not to worry. Okay, so he's got essentially a 4/4 blocker here and a 3/3 wolf. So we play the Pyromancer out to get it out so that if we can play a spell later, we'll be able to really pump out tokens. We'll attack with our flying creature because there's no flying or reach. Poke in for 2 damage, and that's going to end our turn. I'd quite like to we can kind of just use these guys to chump block a bit. So we could block this guy and kill it. He has 5 mana up though, so there's a good chance he'd be able to pump it. So I don't really want to lose. I want to keep my token generation, I think. So we'll block the big guy, or one of the big guys. So we just take the 5 damage. Obstinate Baloth. Gain 4 life. And if you discard it, you put it onto the battlefield instead of playing it. That's real powerful. So if we have a thing that makes him discard it, he gets to play it for free. That's quite a potent card, really. There are quite a few, particularly black likes to make the opponent discard cards. That life gain isn't the end of the world, but it's a bit annoying, really. 4/4. Man, we can play this, but it's obviously not going to have Not going to be particularly beneficial to attack with it, but we can attack with our 2/2. Might as well. Just keep pinging in the damage here. We could force everything through by attacking with everything. At most he'd be able to block some damage. Oh, so this is interesting. It fights a creature, so it doesn't consider this as an attack, but they basically hit each other as though they'd attacked and blocked. And that counter is permanent, I think. Yeah, that's permanent. Okay, we're going to take 6, 7, 8, 9, which will leave us on 6. God, that's really not very pleasant. Man. Oh, but we... no, I'm going to skip it because if we draw a spell, that might save us. But I don't think blocking those 2 damage this turn is gonna be enough anyway. We could consider keeping this as a blocker. Man, I wish we'd had a spell though, because we're not going to get the value out of these pyromancers. They're going to have to block this turn. So he's flash. He's playing this. Notice he's playing this in the end step. He's spending the mana now, so he could have kept it for something else later, because we didn't do anything that required him to use the mana. We can. He could play it at the end of our turn before his mana untapped.
A creature with Death Touch will destroy any creature it deals damage to. To complete this skill quest, survive the turn.
It was Ambush Viper. Oh. He's played an Ogre. A Cyclops, rather. Cyclops that has all creatures have haste. But it's okay. We can block it. And we've got Death Touch. So, although we only do 2 damage instead of the 3, the Death Touch means that this thing dies anyway. 2/1 with Death Touch is kind of weird, but it does actually mean when you block, you only have to deal enough damage to each blocking. When a creature, or when your creature is blocked, you only have to deal enough damage to kill each creature. So each creature has 4 health. You have to deal 4 to the first one, and then you can deal 4 to the next one. But with this, you can just deal 1, 2, because well, it would kill it. Each 1 damage is enough to kill it with Death Touch. The Death Touch is very potent.
Whew, that was close. Nice work. Death Touch is a powerful defense.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the opponent wouldn't have done that.
On offense. Your opponent.
Okay, well, good to know. Right, now he can kill us. Okay, well we have to let these 2 through because anything else... the 3/3 would kill us. So maybe we trade the 2/2 in... Trade the 4/4... That one's got hexproof, so I think we should kill the one with hexproof because we're not going to get a spell that removes it. And we let the 3 damage through and the 2 damage through, which is not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do. Oh no, he's got a buff. Oh, that's us dead because he can just buff one of the creatures we let through. And there we go. A sad loss for Chandra. Defeated. Okay, well we'll have to take on those wild beasts again. But I guess we'll do it next episode. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. Again, we'll try and speed things up a little bit. I feel like we've been through most of the tutorial stuff, so we can kind of crack on and really push forward into the rest of the game. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the episode, be sure to bop that like button. Drop a comment, let me know what you're thinking of the series, what you think of the campaign so far, and if you're playing this game, any cool cards you've drafted. what kind of colour decks you'd be interested in seeing, and overall how much you're enjoying the game. Subscribe to the channel, of course, for more Magic Duels and other stuff coming along the way too. So I've been Ken, thanks very much for watching. I will catch you next time. Cheers!